The Q5 is Audi's most popular model, and with good reason. Last year in 2020, there was over 276,000 Q5s sold in the world. And today, we're gonna look at the most popular version. This is the B9.5 Q5 45 TFSI. Now, I know a lot of you have asked for me to review the PHEV, the PHEV, I don't know, how do you pronounce it? I like to call it PHEV. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. And of course, over the years, yes, Andy, you have asked us to review the SQ5, which I would love to do. But this Q5 is arguably one of the most important Audis in the fleet. This is the one that many of you cross-shop for work vehicle leases, purchases, and today we're gonna see if it passes our rigorous lab test. So first things first, let's see how this fares with the girls. This is a bit of a doozy and will vary depending on the size of your family, or should I say size of your dog. It can be a little bit on the tight side. As you can see, Andy's bed, it actually fits real nicely back here. I think I could even fit a second one right here and have 2 labs in this back. Now, it might feel a little tight. I would recommend plopping down a 40 section in the back just so your dogs have better access to airflow, which I'll get to in a second. Plus, with this lip, the bed feels nice and secure, and I think Andy is very comfortable back here. Abby, on the other hand, as you can see, is a seat rider, so she has a couple options. The preferred option is to have her here in the second row with her Audi harness, of course. Seriously, it is amazing. It works great. I'll link it down below. This also has a 40-20-40 second row seat configuration, which means plop down the center and voila! Now Andy can see forward, and I still can fit a passenger here and in the front, which would mean the way we ride, I can have a total of 2 passengers and 2 dogs. And I can also harness Abby up front, but the best part is that the electronic gear shifter cannot be accidentally moved. That actually happened to me last week when I was cruising up the turnpike in my car. Abby decided to lay her face right in the center space and knocked my shifter into neutral. In here, you won't have to worry about that. The only way to change gears is if you push the button on the side. And I'll touch on the gears in a little bit. Another amazing thing that I discovered is the rear loading height. It's fantastically low, making it so much easier getting your dogs in and out. It's actually even lower than my personal Acura RDX. And this lip that I mentioned earlier, the floor is actually slightly dropped, which makes the ride height a little bit more comfortable. Now, air suspension is an option in the Q5 55, which is exclusively the PHEV or the SQ5, but you're not gonna find a button in the rear to lower it like we saw, let's say, in the SQ8. So let's get to the climate control, because I do have a bit of mixed feelings about this. It is a 3-zone HVAC system, meaning the rear and the front, left and right, can be different temperatures. However, the ventilation strength is more or less homogeneous. So let's say in the summer months, you were to set this to low in the rear and then have a more humanly comfortable temperature up front, let's say 70. Abby on the seat, she may be fine, but Andy in the rear is definitely not gonna feel cool enough. But amazingly, if you drop all the temperatures to low, jack up the fan speed to max, close all the vents up front, these rear vents, yes, you have 2 center vents, no side vents in a Q5. These center vents will blow powerful and cold. And on top of that, when you close all the vents, it doesn't make any weird whistling noise. Which is definitely not always the case, Volvo. So that is a huge plus. And because the cabin is not very humongous, I actually felt comfortable as the cold air eventually pushed its way back to the front. Now, all of the Q5 trims and models come with rear insulating front and side glass. Now, if you were to get the prestige model of this, the 45 TFSI, you would also get dual pane acoustic front windows. But honestly, I don't even feel like it needs it. The cabin space in here is really quiet. I mean, I guess I am a bit intrigued to see if I could detect a difference. But this is just a really nice drive. I mean, is there some noise? Yes. but it is significantly quieter than some of the other luxury vehicles I've driven. Now, the part that everyone seems to find a little confusing, this right here is the Q5 45 TFSI, which means it uses a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine that produces 261 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. Now, there's also a Q5 55 TFSI. That is the PHEV version that I mentioned, and that pretty much uses the same 2-liter inline-4 paired with an electric motor to produce 362 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. And finally, the SQ5, which uses a 3-liter turbocharged V6 that makes 349 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. So I just have to say that this engine in the 45 TFSI, it's a very common engine. We see it in a lot of the VW and the Audi lineup. However, in here, in this Audi, it feels very adequate. Whereas sometimes I felt that the same engine in a Volkswagen is just not as peppy. And I think that's partially due to the dual clutch transmission in here. Audi claims that this can go 0 to 60 in about 5.7 seconds, but honestly, it feels quicker than that. It's smooth. I mean, it really is smooth. Now, I don't have the dogs in here right now, but even if I stayed in dynamic, they would be totally comfortable. You also have off-road comfort auto. I've mostly been in comfort with them, but like I said, any mode, the dogs are comfortable in here. The shifts, they're not laggy. It's just very, very adequate. Very adequate, which is a good thing. And the word adequate really goes a long way in this Premium Plus 45 TFSI trim. And if you're wondering what you're missing in the Prestige trim, a lot of it is mostly cosmetic. For example, you do get matrix LED headlights, which would include some cool animations and headlamp washers. The Prestige also has cooled cup holders and power adjustable steering. There's also some nicer leather bits. You'll also get ventilated front seats, heated rear seats. Plus, you get second row window shades, and the Bang & Olufsen sound system is standard, whereas it was a $950 option in this Premium Plus model. You would also get a heads-up display as default in the Prestige trim. In here, it doesn't have it, but personally, I prefer a cleaner windshield. The Audi Digital Cockpit, however, is great, and it gives you all the info you need. It's probably one of few cars where you would be completely fine without a heads-up display. You would also get the Park Assist feature. In here, you don't have it, but honestly, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've used Park Assist, and it's been exclusively for these types of videos. All in all, the Prestige trim will set you back about $3,000 more than this Premium Plus model. All the other areas are the same. This has a great sunglasses compartment. It is so big, you can actually fit the entire case in there, plus more. The seating position, I love how it's made to accommodate to someone of a shorter stature, and the armrest slides forward. You have a Qi charger with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto in here. I absolutely love that about Audi. And something as big as an ROG Phone 3 can fit on the charger, although this isn't wireless charging, but at least it accommodates a big phone. And I love that there's a USB Type A port in the front and Type C port in here. So keep in mind, this is a very refreshed model, so it doesn't have the double stack displays, but with the $1,500 navigation package, the software is peppy and the screen is actually very nice. You also still get a 360-degree camera, and I have to say, it is so nice, super clear. The only thing that is a little bit annoying is sometimes when you're pulling up to something, the sensors go off, but then you actually have to tap the camera button to see the display. And then in other scenarios, the camera display does turn on, so I'm not quite sure why that happens. But either way, the camera in here is crystal clear. Plus, with this trim, you have the beautiful panoramic sunroof and, of course, all of Audi's safety features. So unless you're aiming to have the top-of-the-line trim for the Q5, this Premium Plus is a hair over $53,000. And I think it essentially gives you everything you would want. In fact, I'm not even sure if a Prestige 45 TFSI model is truly justified for $3,000 more. So I gotta say, it's our first time in a Q5, and I think I showed you that 2 large dogs could totally work in here. Furthermore, I recommend adding the crossbars, and do yourself a favor, get the Audi ski and luggage cargo box. Although I'm not too sure if I'd get the 405-liter one. That may look a bit weird. The 360-liter roof box is probably just the right size. So let's make it super official. Andy, is the Audi Q5 lab approved? Oh yeah, give me a better high five. High five. Yeah, it's totally lab approved. What about you, Abby? Is it lab approved? Yay! Double lab approved! Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for some extensive lab testing. And follow us on Instagram, that's right, Andy, to see pics of this all week. Until next time, bye!